Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, and today's topic I'm going to call my world building process, and I'll do my best to be methodical about it. There's a lot of ideas that I have that I'd like to share with you, but before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use timers to stay focused and build a habit, and I'll start a 10-minute timer. But yeah, just to kind of get started, I will sort of go over this page I've been working on for the past couple of days. Yeah, I worked on it for a little bit after yesterday's video, and but yeah, I worked on the water. I had mentioned that I was just going to use the white of the paper as like the highlight and just put down some different tones and just work on the composition and everything, and so I'm pretty okay with it right now. It looks like there's reflection in the water, so I'm happy. So this is my sketchbook. One thing is that I don't want to use my sketchbook for notes. I want it to be for sketches, which are kind of like notes but in visual or picture form, so I want to keep it that way. Now sometimes I'll get a picture like this where it really could be for, like, it could be a concept art or an illustration for the story I'm working on. I want to be able to just sketch anything in my sketchbook and not feel like, oh, it has to be for the story. And so I want to have that option, or like that freedom to do that. So I have basically another sketchbook, but I'm going to call it a notebook. It was just another like a sketchbook that I had, but I'm going to specifically call it the world building notebook. This is where I want to like write notes basically instead of using the sketchbook. Basically and so this notebook has to be specific to the world building. All my notes are kind of everywhere, which they already are. So that's part of why I'm doing this. So the idea is that whatever form, which is let's talk about like the forms. So you have a sketchbook, you have a notebook, that kind of thing. So those are like the forms. And then, but the function is this idea of what I was just talking about. Like, I want my sketchbook to be basically anything that I want to sketch. But let's say that I have, zoom back out again here. But let's say that I have a sketch that I want to bring into the story. So I did a video. It's in the world building playlist, but basically it was several months ago, and started to experiment with maps. Now, I don't mind sketching out some maps in this notebook because it is specifically towards world building, if that makes sense. But sometimes if I might have an idea to sketch it out in the sketchbook, and I want to be able to do that. So yeah, that's one idea, is to just sketch it out in the sketchbook. So I have this other sketchbook. Now this one, so this was way back several months ago, and I had started to sketch a map. And so I did this. So this is my old sketchbook, which I did several videos recording until I finished it, and then I started working on my current sketchbook. But this one was just to get started. I could have something like this, and I could see how this could kind of go with it, where it's like a zoomed in version of it. So what if I had something kind of like this, and then the sketch, the landscape sketch, and then if I wanted to just right here sort of practice map making. And so the idea is that this is really about just practicing, exploring, and experimenting with the map making itself. And I will also be doing this kind of stuff digitally, but the main thing is to be able to get the idea down. So that's like the function. The idea is the function. And then the form that it takes could be a sketch. It could be a sketch in a notebook or like a sketchbook. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over. And I'll jot down some notes. So something like that. And again, this is more for experimenting. Yeah, I'll go over the playlist real quick. So there's the world building playlist. So this will go in there. And this will be a category that I will keep revisiting. So then I have a playlist called, I might call it the basics. Right now it's just called basic drawing. I might just change it to the basics. But I also have some videos I've made that talked about like how to set goals and stuff like that, like plan projects. It doesn't have to be about world building. And so I just put them into like the basic drawing, but I might call it the basics maybe, just because it wasn't really about drawing, but it was specific to, it was focused on like creative projects and art projects. So yeah, there's going to be figure drawing. Now in the basics, there might be stuff like just drawing random things, figure drawing, comics, painting, stuff like that. So hopefully that'll help you to kind of know like what to expect in the as we go forward, because I want to post every day. But like, for example, I did a deep dive on figure drawing last week, and when you do several days of a specific topic, it's good to kind of work on something else for a while. And then also once you kind of go over like the ideas, you kind of just have to practice it kind of on your own and figure out your own way of doing it. So this week the deep dive is into like world building. So I kind of got this idea to sort of do this because of these deep dives, and because sometimes like a lot of this information I can't cover in one video. I'm gonna think about it some more and kind of come back and talk about it some more. The main thing is like this idea of having the sketchbook and then like a separate notebook like this, specifically for the world building. Now, what if you have a specific thing to sketch? So for example, there might be one of the things I kind of want to get into is like the idea of heraldry. So you might want to, let's say you want to do research. I would do it here. If I have this notebook, I would just do research like this and then like write down notes and stuff, which I find better than doing it in the sketchbook. Now, you don't have to do it that way. This is just, for me, it just seems like this is how my mind works or something. But then I find like sometimes I have resistance to just sitting down and working on the project because maybe there's so much to learn and research, and or maybe I don't have like really an idea, and then I just feel kind of pressured to come up with something. But then if I have my sketchbook, then I can just, to me, it's less official, if you will, and then I can just have more fun. Now for me, the reason it works is because I'm kind of visually minded. Like I like to sketch out my ideas, and I switch kind of between that too, where sometimes really I am thinking about more like the words. So for example, let's say I just want to sketch some characters. Like I'm not going to really do it in here unless I really have like, unless that's really what I'm doing. It's more likely I'll do it in the sketchbook, and then I can like once I have like a look. So an example would be like how I did. So this started off as really, that was part of the figure drawing deep dive, but then it turned into, for me, like this is enough of a character design. So then if I really have a specific idea, then I have a character. So that's just some ideas. There's more to it. I'm still kind of, I'm still working on it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I want to thank you for joining me for today's sketching routine. I know sometimes it's just going to be about kind of information and not so much sketching per se. That's at the heart of what I'm doing. So if you like these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep on sketching.